Hi, this is Rizwan from CyberTech Lighting. It's September 23rd, 2022. I hope everyone's doing well. I wanted to talk about wiring or installing a battery backup that we have. This is a updated version from our old version. It's a model LC-BAT-BACKUP, so LC battery backup. And there's a difference in this one versus the old one. Of course, the casing is very similar. It's all contained in one. This one is a 15 watt unit, whereas the old version used to be a 18 watt unit. And this is also got one whip instead of having two whips. So you used to have an input whip and an output whip. This, your input and your output is all in one, so you have to go into a junction box, and that's where you bring everything all into. So this version is used for fixtures where you don't have access to the driver. So the unit, something like a CAN kit, where you don't have access to the driver inside, this is where you use this unit. Because what it does is it actually operates at full power, 120 volt full power. Back up real quick, and it will operate that unit at full power. Now I'm going to go over some of the wires here, and they are all marked. And so there are a couple of wires here which we call output wires. So these are the output wires from the unit, and you can see that they are clearly marked, and they also have high voltage on them. So this unit, of course, it is running the unit at the lamp at 120 volt output. So this gives you 120 volt output. So these two are covered. It's got the cautioning there, and just in case if they touch, or if you touch it, you might get a little buzz. Of course, the battery has to be charged to be able to do that, but then we have them covered here so they don't short out the system. So you see that they are marked. These are the output. One is a line, the brown, one is a neutral. So you're going to have a line and a brown line, which is the black, and the white and neutral. That's what you're going to connect this up to. You're going to plug it into that, and it'll turn on the unit. So this is the two wires that are the output wires, and then we're going to talk about the input wire. Input wire, of course, we have a black and a white. It's the black and white basically is the regular power. Black is hot, white is neutral, and I've got these two here. They're already marked. Input AC line, input AC neutral, and then there is a third input, which is a input AC line from a wall switch. So if you're going to be running this unit, turning it on and off, you're going to need to have that connected. The switch will turn it off. This, actually, the emergency systems always have a constant power and a switched power. The switch can operate the unit. The constant power is fed to be able to observe that there is power to the building. When this is off, it's fine. But when this is off and this is off, then it realizes that there's no power in the building, and it uses the emergency battery to operate it. Now, this emergency battery runs 90 minutes at 15 watts. So the unit has to be a 15 watt or below. It'll run at 90 minutes. If it's an 18 watt, it will not run it at 90 minutes, which is where the code is. So it only runs anything that's 15 or below. If it's going to run an 8 watt, it's going to run it much longer than 90 minutes. The battery is made to be able to operate that long. Then there are three other wires. It's a red, yellow, and a gray, and that is for your indicator and your test switch. So your test switch is on the indicator, and you've got a cover plate as well. The cover plate comes, and it'll cover onto a junction box with your indicator light and your test switch, and it has three colors, the same colors that are coming out of the whip, and you're going to be mounting this on a junction box and then connecting these three wires. It also comes with another function. So this is a new function in this system where we did not have it in the old system, and it can operate some units that you have access to the driver, and also that a driver that has a dimming function. So with a dimming function, basically you can use a, let's say if you're running a 15 watt, you need a dimming function. So if you have a fixture that has a 15 watt, that's a 30 watt fixture, it needs to have a dimming function, and these dimming function wires, and they're marked, are connected to the dimmer of a dimming section of that driver. It dims it down to 15 watts, and then it operates it at full power. So that's the other method. That's called wiring diagram or wiring method B. There's 3 types of Bs on this unit because you might have a motion sensor, you may have a wall switch, or you may have a AC motion sensor, and then there's a wiring diagram A where you don't have it's not a fixture where it needs a dimming function. So again, these dimming function wires are covered, so you don't necessarily need to use it on this kind of a system. This is the same as this, a T8, and of course, if it's a T8 that you cannot access the driver to, you basically take the hot wires, output hot wires, and they're going to be connected into the pins through a lamp holder, and you will be running this type of lamp. So if you can run an emergency on this, anywhere you don't have access to a driver, and on a CAN kit. I'm going to go over and we're going to talk about the wiring and how it's wired. It does come with all of the, not only the indicator switch and plate, but it also comes with the wiring nuts. So we're going to talk about this unit here. We're going to talk about wiring diagram A. So I've got 2 wiring diagrams that I have put up over here. Wiring diagram A, which is a unit, which is like a CAN kit. Let's say this is a 15 watt or a 12 watt. It's a 12 watt CAN kit. It usually goes into a junction, it goes into a CAN. So this is let's say a remodel CAN. It has a little J box on it. And so you're going to bring everything into that J box, and then you're going to wire up through that. So first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to wire up this indicator light, and the indicator light will go into a junction box. You'll have a separate junction box. You're going to put the indicator light through that, and you're going to put the indicator cover, light cover, and that is going to be somewhere on the ceiling next to the fixture. And so what you're going to do is, again, you're going to run the wire into your CAN J box, and then you're going to run a whip and to your junction box with these 3 wire connections, or at least 3 wires going in, which would be the yellow, red, and black, and you're going to connect those 3 wires, and your indicator light will be done. So your indicator light will be done with these 3 wires that are used up. Now you've got the input wires and you've got the output hot wires. So input hot wires and output. You're going to start with the output hot wires, and what you're going to do is the output hot wires on this kind of a system. Let's say it's a CAN. So you're going to have an orange plug. This orange plug is going to go all the way to your junction box with 2 wires, a black and a white, which is line and neutral. And you're going to basically connect those black and neutral to your blue and brown wires, which are the hot wires. Brown to the black and blue to the white. And so you've got your hot output wires connected. Now you're going to connect the input wires, which are 3. You're going to have a black, white. So you've got your input power coming in. Power is coming in. One is a neutral white. One is a black. The black and neutral give it constant power, and then you will have a second black coming in with a white, and you'll connect it to the white line, which will be your switch power. So your switch goes on and off, and as it goes on and off, it goes through the driver, which allows it to turn this unit on and off. But it constantly is receiving other hot power, so it does not go to emergency light. Once the hot power is out and the switch is off, then it realizes that there's no power, and it turns it to emergency mode, and it's running on emergency power. So that's pretty much all of the wires that are needed for this wiring diagram A, you're not using the dimming functions at all, but you will be using that on your, in the wiring diagram B, which is now something that you have. Let's say there's a fixture and you have access to it has dimming wires and it has AC wires. Even though it has access to the chip, you're just basically going to go your hot wire. You're going to first put the junction, a small junction box for your test switch indicator, just like you did over here. So that one is that part is done. You're going to have your input coming in, black, white, and a switch. Now this is going to have to be a 0 to 10 volt switch. It could be a 0 to 10 volt dimming sensor or motion sensor or anything like that. But this one, I put a switch there, so it's going to have a switch that has a hot coming in. So the same way you got a hot, which is a black wire with a white line. You got a black, which is constant power, and a neutral that's going to connect. So you got the three. Now this switch actually has two other wires, and the dimmer, the fixture has two dimmer wires, a gray and a purple coming out. Usually they're connected to the dimmer switch. You slide it and it dims it. What we're going to do is we're going to split it, and we have 3 wires to be able to use for that. Now these were the 3 wires that were covered in the first wiring system A. We didn't, or diagram A, we did not use these. These will be used here. So the purple will go to the purple of the fixture, right? Then you have a gray of the fixture coming out, and you have a gray of the switch coming out. That is going to be connected to the pink wire. So the gray from both the fixture and the switch are going to be connected to the pink wire, and the purple wire coming from the switch is going to go to the orange wire. Now what that's going to do is it's going to dim the unit down to 15 watts, and then it's going to operate it. So it uses its dimming function to dim the unit, and it operates it at 15 watts. Because if you operate it at a higher wattage, then you're going to have, you will not be able to run 90 minutes on this battery. It's only able to run 90 minutes when a unit is 15 or lower. So that's why you use the dimming function. So now it's able to this unit is now able to work with fixtures as well, not just fixtures at a higher wattage, not just can kits or lamps that you have no access to the. Now this is a 15 watt unit, and the way you calculate out the lumens that it's going to give you is that you're going to look at the lumens per watt of any of the fixtures. So the can kit, let's say it has an 80 lumen per watt. It's going to put in 15 watts in it, and you're going to get 1200 lumens out of this. Now if a fixture usually are a lot cooler, so they're running at a much higher lumens per watt, sometime 100, 120, or even more. So let's say if it's 100 watt, you're going to get 15 watts of power. You're going to get 1500 lumen on emergency on that in a fixture that has 100 lumens per watt. You're going to have 120. A fixture that has 120 lumens per watt will be giving 1800 lumens, and that's how you figure out, or you calculate out you multiply the lumens per watt, 120 times 15, and you get 1800 lumens. I think that covers how to wire this unit. I thank you very much.